Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. Today we're going to fix a cantaloupe, and I'm going to show you how I really clean it, and try to make it as germ-free as I can get it. Now, there was a scare last year, in fact about this time, I think it might have been in August, August 2012, with cantaloupes, western cantaloupes that were contaminated with listeria, which is really kind of a pretty dangerous infection for older people and younger children. So better to be, on the side of caution with cantaloupes. Now, I don't think that any eastern cantaloupes were involved in that outbreak, but just to be on the safe side, might as well just, wash them thoroughly and disinfect them as much as you can. All right, so that was the bad part. Now, the good part is it's about the middle of July, and the eastern cantaloupes are in, and of course the favorite brand or the favorite type is going to be Athena. Here's an Athena. And I wanted to show you this. I don't know if you can see that. It's from Sandifer's Farms, and that's in Blackwell, South Carolina, which is about 50 miles from us. Now, the Athena is a much sweeter cantaloupe than the western, and it really is almost always bigger and a higher sugar content. Now, my grandmother used to call cantaloupes mushmelons, M-U-S-H melons, and I think a lot of people in the South still call them mushmelons, but they're actually called musk melons, M-U-S-K melons. But anyway, all right, here's the side that was on the ground where it was growing, and you want to make sure that your cantaloupe doesn't have a stem still on it, and you want to just slightly press it and see if it gives just a little bit. And if it does, you know it's ripe. And another way you know it's ripe is it has a very aromatic smell to it. Now, this is peak season in July, August, and I guess even some into September. And it's also peak season for the western cantaloupe, which has a thicker skin and with more green on it, and it's not quite as sweet. I really prefer these. And of course, the fact that it came really less than 100 miles from our home makes it all the better. All right, now to disinfect this and really clean it up, because contamination can come from slicing it, because you'd be slicing it through the peeling. So the first thing I do is wash it with antibacterial soap. Now, the government says you don't need to do that, it might absorb whatever, but I mean, how much could it absorb in such a small window of time? So I'm going to just remove the little tag from Sandifer Farms and just go ahead and put it down in the sink. Now, I've kept it in my bag the whole time, okay? You don't want to sit it on your counter because you can spread bacteria that way. So I'm going to use a little warm water and just some of my regular hand soap. Now, this is my first cleaning of it. So I'm going to wash it all over. Then I'm going to actually take a clean dish rag and just scrub it like I was just, scrubbing, showing a little kid when you're giving them a bath. Now, the cantaloupe has got this webbing on it, and they say that's what holds the bacteria, the webbing on it. And pay particular attention to the bottom of it, because this is where it came in contact with the soil. Now, the three main bacteria strands that can cause the most damage would be Listeria, Salmonella, and of course we all know about E. coli. So I'm just going to scrub it real good. And then I'm going to rinse it off. And still scrub it a little bit as I'm rinsing it. Now, you'd think that this would be the end of it, but it's not. I want to rinse all that soap off of it, and I'm going to put my rag in the laundry basket. I'm not going to reuse this rag, that dish rag. Alright, after thoroughly rinsing it, here's the next thing we're going to do. And I know this is going to seem strange to some people, but what I'm going to do, this is a large pot. I'm going to fill it up with just tap water. And I'm going to put my cantaloupe in it, and I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of just regular Clorox bleach. Now, I'm not going to use the scented kind, just regular Clorox. Just a couple of tablespoons. Now I want to make sure that my cantaloupe is down below this water level. Now it will float. So, and you can see this is a very large cantaloupe. I'm going to use my lid upside down to hold it under the water. Well, I have to do it like that. That doesn't work. There. That got it. You want to hold it all the way under the water. I'm going to wash my hands really good again. Now you're going to leave it soaking in this Clorox solution. I usually leave it for about 5 minutes. Now, I'm going to throw my bag away. Okay. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about the contamination that can be on fruits and vegetables. Cantaloupes, I mean, they're not going to have the bacteria inside them. The only case I know of where E. coli was actually inside of a fruit or vegetable were the Roma tomatoes several years ago. And I don't know if you remember it or not, but even restaurants quit serving raw tomatoes. They were afraid of being sued, I guess. So anyway, of course my tomatoes, I always put them down in boiling water to peel them. So you know, the tomatoes aren't really a problem unless they were contaminated on the inside. And I'll have to tell you, I haven't bought Roma tomatoes in all this time ever again. I'm just afraid of them because the bacteria was actually inside the tomato. Now, that's not going to be the case with the cantaloupe. All of the contamination would be on the outside. And it could come from anywhere, from the soil to the packing house to when it was hauled out on the highway, you know, on the truck going to market. Because in our area, what you see a lot, particularly going down, I think it's Highway 321 and Highway 176 here in South Carolina, these farmers are taking their cantaloupes to market in the back of a pickup truck usually, and it'll be just piled up in a pyramid, and all along the road you can see where cantaloupes fell off and broke. Sometimes if you're behind a truck, they'll fall off and be rolling across the road, and watermelons the same way. And by the way, I do my watermelons exactly like I do my cantaloupes, because where the contamination can come in is where you're slicing the cantaloupe and you're putting that knife down through the peeling and then all the way through, you know, the middle meat of the fruit, and you're just spreading contamination all the way down. Another thing that happened during that scare with the cantaloupe was in the stores you were seeing a lot of pre-cut cantaloupe in these little plastic cartons with a little sugar syrup over them and that kind of thing. A real convenient way to eat cantaloupe because you don't have to fool with peeling it and all the seeds and all that. Well, those were contaminated too. So the grocery stores immediately started pulling those all off the shelves. And so anyway, many people got sick, and they had some deaths, right, many deaths from this, because the listeria, I think, can actually affect the brain and the nervous system in its later stages. So just better to be safe than sorry is the way I feel about it. So anyway, I'm going to leave this cantaloupe soaking for about 5 minutes, and That's going to kill all the bacteria and all that little webbing around it and the skin and even in the stem area. And after it's soaked, we're going to dry it off really good, and then we're ready to slice it. Now, I tried freezing cantaloupe. I've tried it several times. I can't make it work. I just can't. Last year we bought 6 of these Athena cantaloupe, and they were so good. And I thought, I've got to freeze them. I mean, surely I can put them in a smoothie or something and they'll be good. They weren't. I guess they've got so much water content in them that they just really don't freeze well at all. Now, I think the Western cantaloupe might freeze a lot better since the flesh on them is more condensed, you know. So anyway, with the cantaloupe, I just want to mention this. Now, if you go into the Peace Corps, which you probably won't, but if you did, the federal government's going to give you some instructions on what you can eat when you're in these foreign countries and how to clean the vegetables. And one of the ways that they do it is they use 1 tablespoon of Clorox. Now, that's not the scented kind, just regular Clorox, in 1 gallon of water, and you soak your fruits or vegetables for 15 minutes to 30 minutes, or really, I think they said 10 minutes to 30 minutes. And then you can eat them. Now, even lettuce and stuff like that, you'd want to soak that, but of course you couldn't soak it that long, it would totally ruin it. So they would recommend 1/2 teaspoon of Clorox in 1 gallon of water, you know, and soak for several minutes. And but anyway, it's interesting that the government recommends that for foreign countries, but they don't recommend it in this country, okay? I guess they're afraid of the environmentalists. I don't know what they're afraid of, but I think that what they suggested for the foreign countries is probably what we need to do here too, because we're not immune from all of those different things that can get on our fruits and vegetables. So, all right, so that's enough of that. All right, now we are ready to take this out of the sink. It's been soaking a couple of minutes, I guess. And remember now, I've actually probably put a couple of tablespoons of Clorox on this cantaloupe. Now I'm going to take some saran wrap and I'm going to put that right over my cutting board, because I don't even want it on my cutting board even after it's been soaked. And again, I think it's better to be safe than sorry. Okay, so I'm going to lift it out of the solution, dry it off. Now, especially if your cantaloupe's got any little nicks in it, you really want to be cautious of that. Okay, now I've dried it off. Now I want you to notice that I didn't even rinse it off, okay? Because it smells a little bit like Clorox, but not much. But remember, we're going to take all this peeling off. So I'm going to move the camera back just a little bit now so you can see. There we go. Now, I do not put seeds from cantaloupes in my compost bin. And I don't, because from years past, the cantaloupe is the first thing to sprout. I don't know why. You know, the compost bin definitely heats up, but I get cantaloupes growing out the side of the compost bin, so we just absolutely stop putting cantaloupe seeds into the compost bin. There's what it looks like. Now this one is not as ripe as some of them you can get. I would have preferred it a little more ripe, because most of the time the ripe goes almost all the way to the end. But anyway, there's no real way to tell this other than it's early in the season. Okay, now I'm just going to take a spoon and just scrape that seed pulp out along with the little strings, making sure I get all the seeds out. Same thing with the second half. Just Scrape all those seeds out. And again, the seeds are going to go right in the garbage can. I don't even put them down in the garbage disposal because they're too hard to grind up. Okay, so now, before I peel the cantaloupe, I'm going to cut it into sections. Now, I know some of my older viewers know exactly how to do this, but I think that some of my younger ladies and men don't really know how to do a cantaloupe. Okay, now we're going to need a little paring knife. We're just going to follow that little green part all the way around. There, you've got it. It's much easier to slice it this way than it is to try to peel it all the way first, because first of all, it's so slippery, it's hard to hold on to. And that green will be your guide. There you go. So I'm going to get about 5 pieces out of one side. Now, in the refrigerator, the cantaloupe will keep, well, we really only keep ours a couple of days, but it would probably keep 3 days. But my recommendation is that you try to only keep it like 2 days, or best yet, eat the whole thing in the same day would be better. And you also, when you put it in the refrigerator, you need to make absolutely sure that your container has an airtight lid on it, because otherwise everything in your refrigerator will smell like these cantaloupes, including milk. I've actually had milk that tastes just exactly like cantaloupe. So putting, saran wrap around them and all that kind of thing works a little bit, but the way it works best is in an airtight container. And again, I really wouldn't keep them more than a couple of days. Alright, we're just about finished. Alright, there's the final one. Throw my saran wrap away now. Now, I want to point out something to you. This does not smell like Clorox, okay? It does not. So, no longer time than the cantaloupe is in the Clorox water, it really just doesn't smell at all. And you can be pretty well assured that all the bacteria has been killed, or probably 99% of it. Anyway, so this is how I do the cantaloupe, and this is the Athena East cantaloupe. And these were grown in Blackville, South Carolina, which is about 50 miles from our home. And they ship really well, the Athena do. And I think they might ship them, I don't know how far in the United States they ship them, but a lot of people are very familiar with Athena cantaloupes. And so anyway, there you go. I hope you'll try the cantaloupes this way and, really get them disinfected just for your own health, safety, and your family. All right, see you next time.